Straight ahead on WBKB, a look at the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States.
Plus, Donald Trump pardons dozens before leaving office, and we'll tell you about a series of upcoming town halls on the coronavirus vaccine.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz. Well, Joseph R. Biden was inaugurated today as the 46th President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris was also inaugurated, becoming the first woman and person of color to serve as the Vice President of the United States. Lady Gaga was there to perform the national anthem before the ceremony kicked off. Jennifer Lopez and Garth Brooks also performed, and yes, A-Rod was there. Former Vice President Mike Pence was present for the inauguration. However, President Trump gave remarks to a small crowd this morning before departing for Mar-a-Lago. Besides Trump and 96-year-old Jimmy Carter, who has publicly supported Biden and did not travel, all living presidents were in attendance. Presidents Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama all came to witness the transfer of power. The new president and vice president began their term around 12 p.m. and after swearing in and Biden giving his inaugural address. In the address, President Biden spoke of the strength of the nation to overcome obstacles and called on the people to unite as his administration begins in a unique period of American history.
My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter. We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation. One nation.
And although the ceremony was a little different, Biden, Harris, and the present former presidents laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier and participated in the inaugural parade. Trump is the first president since Andrew Johnson back in the 1800s to skip the inauguration.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump released a wave of 11th-hour pardons and commutations consisting of 73 individuals pardoned and 70 commuted sentences. Among those sentences that Trump commuted was former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, who has served 7 years of a 28-year sentence for his role in a racketeering and bribery scheme. Kilpatrick served as mayor of Detroit from 2002 to 2008 and was not expected to be released until 2037 after his conviction. Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon was one of the dozens of pardons President Trump issued around 1 o'clock this morning. Bannon was a key advisor in Trump's 2016 presidential run and was charged last year with swindling Trump supporters over an effort to raise private funds to build the president's wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. He has pleaded not guilty. Rapper Lil Wayne pleaded guilty in federal court in December to illegally possessing a firearm, and he has also been pardoned, as well as rapper Kodak Black, who is serving federal prison time on firearm charges as well.
As Tuesday's Alpena City Council meeting items discussed were the auditor's presentation on the financial report, modifications at the Evergreen Cemetery, and the flashing light on 2nd and Miller Street. An auditor's presentation was given on the annual financial report. According to Mayor Matt Walagora, for approximately 29 years, they've been awarded a Certificate of Excellence for reporting. Walagora says not only is this great news for the city of Alpena, but because they're stewards of the taxpayers' funds, it builds their trust.
They don't necessarily judge what specific projects and things and what we're actually doing, but it does attest to our transparency, that if anybody ever has any questions whatsoever, they can either call or refer to our records that we've reported them properly.
Modifications were made to the Evergreen Cemetery, and they're now accepting different materials onto headstones, such as some metals, stainless steel, or bronze. They're also allowing some motorcycles and skateboards to come on the cemetery grounds, as they've seen as they're seen as transportation. Lastly, the board acknowledged the flashing light on 2nd Street and Miller, but tabled this item until the next meeting.
Well, to help Michigan residents make better informed decisions about the COVID-19 vaccination, the state is hosting a series of community town hall meetings. The first virtual discussion is this Thursday, January 21st from 4 to 5 p.m. Its focus will be on the faith-based community. Residents will have the opportunity to hear from faith-based and health leaders and discuss the safety and importance of the vaccine to help safely reopen Michigan. One Northern Michigan reverend who will participate in the meeting says residents need the information as they are ready to regain some normalcy.
We have a lot of folks who are very much anticipating being vaccinated. Our people are really anxious to get back together in person. They miss being together, and they really are longing, especially for pastoral care visits, to visit, each other in the hospital, and to celebrate the lives of folks who have died.
And there will be more town halls scheduled in partnership with state public health and community leaders throughout the state. And you can catch Thursday's town hall through a Facebook live stream. The address is located on your screen.
With less than a month from Valentine's Day, many people may be planning their special time with their special people. However, for those that are single, they may be wondering how to meet people during the pandemic. WBKB's Tiffany Maddox tells us how you can use online dating tools pandemic style and keep yourself safe.
Because I'm married, I haven't had a chance to use a lot of the online dating tools that are available today. However, I was able to do a little bit of research, and I'm able to tell you how you can stay safe while dating and even COVID-free.
Do I want to introduce this person into my bubble?
In the spring of 2020, Michigan native Nicole Bonneville did just that. Using the Bumble app, Nicole dated at the start of the state's shutdown, starting in April through October.
Bumble is an app that works for me because it's more on my terms. It's the app that allows the women to decide if the relationship progresses.
She says due to the pandemic, it was important to be creative for virus safety after establishing rapport with her dates.
Another interesting one that I did was just a trip to Target.
Bonneville offers these tips to remain free of the virus, including only talking to your potential partner in the beginning.
For at least 2 weeks, and neither of us showed any symptoms.
Aside from COVID, Michigan State Police want to make sure you're doing everything to remain safe.
People out there like to do their own background checks using social media or third-party services where they can pay to do a background. But you got to realize you're not even sure if that is actually the person you're speaking with.
Bonneville agrees.
Make sure there's nothing that's setting off alarm bells outside of just their profile.
In Alpena, Tiffany Maddox, WBKB News.
Well, Lieutenant Carroll says to also make sure you meet your date in a public place. You can actually hear about some of Nicole's online dating stories on her podcast, which will be available on our website. More news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, it's Next Level Wednesday, and today we're speaking with Dr.
Coming with a cold front, so we'll talk more about the windy conditions and then a blast of some colder air on the way for the end of the week a bit later in the newscast.
Thanks for that, Allie. And today on Next Level Wednesdays, Stephanie Minichi speaks with Dr. Don McMaster, who is the president of Alpena Community College. Dr. McMaster takes us on his journey to becoming the college's president and provides encouraging words. Take a look.
First question for you, I just want to briefly explore what that means to be president of ACC.
It was a grant-funded position teaching communications in workplaces like Besser Company and Fletcher Paper when Fletcher Paper was still going. This was a wonderful opportunity to me. I didn't know that at the time. And it allowed me to see what goes on in workplaces, what their challenges are, and that many folks that are in workplaces are extremely bright. And my job was to enhance literacy skills and teach literacy and figure out a way to connect that activity to what they were doing. So that got me involved and interested in curriculum and connecting with people, and it gave me a broader view of what community colleges can do and should do compared to if I had gone into a track of, say, teaching English or that sort of thing, which is a very important.
Photos such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
And what a nice photo, but
Right.
it's bad news for anyone who wants to play pond hockey. But speaking of hockey, sports is coming up next, and first, Jake Vanderbrook is in with a preview. Jake, what's going on?
Hey, Tyler, next in sports, we have unfortunate news to share regarding an ice fishing tournament. More on that, and it's official. The Lions have hired their new head coach. We'll break down their coaching resume.
Well, we're out of time tonight, but as always, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or be sure to check us out on our Facebook and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
And that's all we have for you this evening. Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.